address two things in Division I FBS football. The first being Brennan Armstrong from Virginia has entered the transfer portal. Remember, he was the starting quarterback of Virginia last year. In his career, he has, let me look at the numbers here, but I know for this year he had 2,210 yards with 7 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. That's a yikes number. Like 185 completions out of 338. He did have 123 rushing attempts for 371 yards with 6 touchdowns. But it was a down year for him. But the year before, he had 326 completions out of 500 for 4,449 yards with 31 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. But he was also sacked 34 times this past year. He also ran the ball 98 times for 251 yards with 9 touchdowns. And he did have 1 reception for 18 yards. And the other being Blake Corun from Michigan football is reportedly to have surgery on his knee, which is going to be season ending. And to explain his loss, he's 5'8", 210 pounds, obviously one of the best running backs in the country, and he could easily be like a Heisman contender too. But he had 247 rushing attempts for 1,463 yards with 18 touchdowns. That's a big loss. But I know they're still good at running back and they're really good defensively as a team. And they have other weapons, but this is the number one guy on the team by far and away. He did have 11 receptions for 80 yards, with 1 touchdown. So that's another key thing to keep in mind, not only going to this game, but the college football playoff this year. Because if he's not going to play, which it sounds like he's not, because it's season ending, it might affect the game some, whoever they play. It might. As for the Virginia quarterback situation, whoever's going to get him is going to get a good quarterback, but I know he has had a down year this year. I know he has. So he's a guy that's starting experience, first of all, and a proven guy. I mean, yes, I know he threw 12 picks this year, but I think he's going to be better off wherever he goes next. I do. I'm not just saying this because I'm a Baylor fan and all. I would love to have this guy as a grad transfer. I would. That way you could have 3 scholarship quarterbacks again. And you could have an open competition. And he could be the potential starter for the team. Then figure out who is their second string and go from there. He would be a viable option. But I don't know whether or not they're going to try to reach out to him or if they could even get him. Because I'm pretty sure he's going to be sought after pretty heavily. I would think so. And he probably wants to go to a team that's more winning too. Not to take a jab at Virginia for this past year, but it's the truth. I mean, and it's just an unfortunate situation for Virginia entirely with the football program. He probably wants a fresh start somewhere else. And he has like, I believe, 1 more year of eligibility left. He does, I think. Because he played in 2018, but he might have been redshirted that year. Of course, 2019, he played some games. 2020, that's a COVID year. 1 more year of eligibility. So this wouldn't be the best. This would be a good option for Baylor to try to get. Especially when it could work. But I know he threw a lot of picks this year. That's the only problem that I see. Besides maybe not being super duper, it's not as mobile either. And overall in his career, he threw 35 picks and he's 58 touchdowns, 35 interceptions. But the problem is, 12 of those came this year. The year before he had 10. The prior year he had 11. So, and his completion percentage was down this year too. So, to 54.7%. Compared to the year before, it was 65.2. But it was up from the year before with 58.6%. And he had like 157 completions out of 268 attempts for 2,117 yards with 18 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. But he only got sacked 19 times. I don't know if Baylor is willing to try to reach out to him or not, like I said before. But I would definitely keep an eye on this. He could be the answer that Baylor needs. Could be. And bring him in, say open competition, because you're probably more likely than not going to get Corun back. Whether you like it or not, you're not going to get him back. So, it's highly unlikely. So, besides getting offensive line, defensive line, especially nose tackle, and especially if you lose 2 guys on the defensive line, you could return. If those guys come back, that would help. But best available wide receiver and running back, maybe like an Abram Smith type, as well as a best available cornerback / safety. So I prefer 2 corners over a safety. I meant 2 corners over like 2 safeties. But I don't mind like 1 and 1. So there's going to have to be some dead weight on the Baylor roster to be released. So in order to open up some room to take more transfers, just to have some idea of what do we need, what we need to address, and everything. So, anyways, if you like this content, hit like and subscribe, and see you guys later. It's been to 400 subscribers or more by the end of this year or sometime in the future.